The Hindenburg disaster was one of the 20th century's most famous. Why did we ever think that a giant balloon filled with highly flammable hydrogen was a good way to move lots of people great distances across oceans?
The Shaka sign, also known as hang loose or hang 10, is a hand gesture that's usually associated with Hawaiian and surf culture. Do you know what it means?
There's an online meme that you would have seen. It's called Distracted Boyfriend. The people involved are actually stock photo actors, and there's a funny backstory.
And there's a mystique associated with the legendary Stradivarius violin. Did you know that everyone existing in the world has a unique name? We'll tell you the story.
Hello and welcome to REMORANDOM, celebration of everything interesting, uncommon knowledge. Hi, Claudia.
Hey, Remo, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How do I
That's
sound?
good.
How are my sound levels?
Oh, you sound fantastic, my friend. You know how I check my microphone and my earphones and everything every week before I get together with you?
No.
I go to YouTube Music and type in Charles Aznavour La Boheme.
Right.
And so that's how I can test my earphones. Both ears are working. And I play La Boheme, all 4 minutes, blah, blah, of it. And it's got the French subtitles, and somebody has done this really dicky video of Montmartre, thinking that that's going to transport us. Well, it kind of does. They made it black and white. Ooh, so atmospheric. And I watch the French subtitles, and I try and sing along in French.
Along.
But
Oh,
Aznavour speaks so quickly
that's so cute.
Montmartre saute là, accroché celui-là, je suis
Okay.
fenêtre.
I
And
know La
that's my
Mer.
warm-up.
I know La Mer, but I'm going to play that as soon as we get off this this call. Yeah, YouTube. I do quite a lot of YouTube research for Memorandum, and I've cottoned on to the speed it up so that I don't have to actually watch all 24 minutes. I can watch it at 1.75 speed, and it's a little bit Alvin the Chipmunky.
Yes.
And when I edit these video podcasts, usually I run it through at 1.5, and I must talk really slowly because I actually sound fine at 1.5 speed. So viewers, listeners, I forgive you if you're actually listening to this at 1.5 at the moment. That's fine by me.
And you know what? He really is Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Or Moose from Moose and Squirrel. Okay, so I'll kick it off with a sad story, the Hindenburg disaster.
Yes.
Now, I'm wondering whether or not everyone's going to be across this. Certainly, baby boomers and older and maybe a bit younger will know this image of this giant, Zeppelin, exploding into flames, which has become one of the sort of iconic disaster photographs of the 20th century. So, as I said in the lead-in, why did we ever think this was a good idea? That a giant balloon filled with a flammable gas and fuel flying across the ocean was going to be safe. But to give them some credit, it was designed to carry helium and not highly flammable hydrogen. But what happened was this was pre-Second World War, and there were export restrictions imposed by the US against Nazi Germany, and one of those restrictions was on helium, so that they had to actually fill it with a gas that it wasn't intended to be filled with. So in around 1936, the Hindenburg, actually did cross the North Atlantic 10 times in the service, carrying a total of 1,002 passengers. But on this one particular fateful trip, 6 May 1937, while landing the Zeppelin, as it was called, named after the company in Germany that actually made them, in Lakehurst, New Jersey, something happened. There's all sorts of theories as to whether it was static electricity or a gas leak or
Cigarette.
anti-Nazi sabotage incendiary paint. I mean, this rabbit hole is full of conspiracy theories. I have to tell you. Anyway, of the 97 people aboard, 35 of them were killed. And the publicity surrounding this event completely shattered public confidence in the giant passenger-carrying rigid airships and marked more or less the end of their life as a sort of a commercial transport option. They came back later as a sort of advertising billboards, but not to carry human souls across the ocean. So there were lots of cameramen and newsreel people in New Jersey, but for some reason no one was filming at that particular moment. So we don't actually have footage of the when it caught fire. But we do have some pretty great photographs taken soon after. There was a eyewitness report made by Herbert Morrison for radio station WLS in Chicago that was broadcast the next day. And there is a QR code in the book. You can go and listen to the whole thing. But I'll read you the last lines of it after he describes the thing bursting into flames and people running around and this is terrible, etc. and so forth. He says, and I quote, "Oh, the humanity and all the passengers screaming around here. This is the worst thing I've ever witnessed." So, oh, the humanity, even today, reckons Tom Crouch, the curator at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. Anyone who hears the phrase, "oh, the humanity," knows exactly what you're talking about and where it came from. So it's hard to think, other than maybe the Challenger disaster when the space shuttle exploded with all of the astronauts.
Which we all saw.
Yeah, we all saw. But that was a biggie. And
It was a biggie. Do you know when they built the Empire State Building, and it was completed in 1931, so before this disaster, the spire from which King Kong hangs in the film was designed as a mooring for airships.
I knew
they
that,
said.
which is unbelievable. Can you imagine?
Insane. Yes, the commander of the Graf Zeppelin said at the time, the idea that people could get off an airship onto the tallest building in the world beggars belief, and you would also need a lot of rope.
Terrific. Thank you for.
And you remember in the 80s, Alan Bond had the Swan Lager Zeppelins, the blimps going over Sydney.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They were advertising one Bond thing or another. There was Swan Lager. I'm sure there were other brands. And Goodyear, the tyre company.
That's right.
Does them, things with blimps. I'm going to look up to see if there's any blimps around these days. There must be someone doing something with a blimp. And where does the word blimp come from?
Exactly. Now that's a search.
Readers,
that is a search.
Listeners, can you get back to us with that one?
Yeah. We'll leave you with that homework. Well, one place that the Zeppelin never adventured to was Hawaii. So we're going. Where's my ukulele? Bing, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
We're going across the seas.
Ooh, good slide
and we're going to talk
guitar
about
sound.
We're going to talk about the Shaka. And I'm not talking Shaka Khan. We're talking about the Shaka sign, also known as hang loose or hang 10, baby.
If you're watching,
it's
you can
this.
See. Yep.
It's this hand gesture that's associated with Hawaii and surf culture, and you extend the thumb and the 3 middle fingers, and you give a little shake.
Give it a shake.
And that's what it's all about. And there's a story that credits the origin of this interesting gesture to a Hawaiian man named Hamana Kalili of Lae. And he lost the 3 middle fingers on his right hand in a sugar mill accident in the early 20th century.
Oh, nasty.
Ouch. You would do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So Kalili was later employed as a security guard on the Oahu Sugar Company's train, and he used to use unique hand gestures to signal that everything was okay. So the locals began to mimic that gesture, and it gradually became known as a symbol of greeting and goodwill. Fast forward to the 1960s, and a fellow called Lippi Espinda, who's a used car salesman and a Oahu-based entertainer, and he used to be an extra on Hawaii Five-O, if you know your Hawaii Five-O trivia. He used to use a sign in the 1960s as he signed off from his TV show, and he'd go, Shaka bra. And Espinda is credited with increasing the popularity of the gesture because you could watch it happening on telly.
Everyone
Also,
can tease someone with missing fingers, yes. Go on.
that's it. So Honolulu's longest-serving mayor, Frank Fussy, used to use the gesture when he was campaigning in 1976. But most of all, from the 60s onwards, the Shaka sign was popularized by Hawaiian surfers, and it spread to other parts of the world, of course, California, Australia, Brazil, and it became synonymous with this easy, hey man, laid-back lifestyle associated with surfing. But what does a sign actually mean? So the Shaka sign conveys a sense of aloha spirit, which encompasses good feelings and friendship and compassion and understanding. It also means, depending on the context, hello, goodbye, thank you, cool, and take it easy. And its universal message is one of positivity, camaraderie, and good vibes.
It's working hard. It's working hard, that symbol.
You know, I never use it.
I
I say hello in other ways.
I'm guessing that doesn't surprise me. And
There's a fellow.
you do notice them more when you kind of notice them the first time, or you know what they are consciously. But anyway, go on. Sorry.
Well, there's a fellow. There's a fellow called Sa Tamba, who's the owner of the Tamba Surf Company on Kauai, and he says it's just a way of saying hi, a way of saying goodbye, and spreading some good spirit. It's the eternal spirit of aloha. And he also says that the shaka is not a wave. He says you're kind of like throwing it out there, you know, to your friend, someone in the distance, and it's kind of like catching the shaka. And he throws different shakas for different reasons. He says there's the casual one-handed shaka, and there's the strong double-handed. Oh, it's hard
Double
to do.
shaka.
It's like live long and prosper. Get down, little finger. Get down. And that's for flagging somebody down at a crowded concert or saying hello to a friend you haven't seen in a long time. Hang loose, man.
That's
There
great.
you go.
I'm not sure about that accent you were giving the guy, though. It was very
I don't know how to do a Hawaiian accent.
not Hawaiian.
I was trying to be laid back, man, because it's all in the aloha spirit, you know. And the word like appeared several times.
I
That was
can't
not me.
imagine your pale cosmopolitanness anywhere near a surfboard, but there you go. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
I did have a wetsuit at one stage for snorkeling, and we lent it to a friend and she never gave it back. So that's the end of my snorkeling days.
Right. Okay. Distracted boyfriend. That's not me. That is an internet meme. If you're watching this video, I'll throw it up there. You can probably imagine it. It's a man and his girlfriend walking away from us down the street, and there's an attractive woman in red walking toward us, and the guy has turned around and he's leering, and the girl, his girlfriend, is looking at him leering with a shocked and horrified look on her face. So it's a 2015 stock photograph by a Spanish photographer, Antonio Guillem, and the idea, the stock image was taken in Spain, in Catalonia, and the concept, the session was meant to capture the concept of infidelity, quote unquote, in a playful and fun way, which is kind of not exactly how I would describe
That's hilarious.
it. And the
Love
boyfriend,
it.
and girlfriend in the photograph are known by their stage names, Mario and Alora. So the image was uploaded to Shutterstock, which is a sort of photo platform where you can
Library, yep.
library and you can buy photos. And the caption is, "Disloyal man walking with his girlfriend and looking amazed at another seductive girl." So tells it as it is. So the first known use of this stock image as an internet meme was posted to a Turkish progressive rock Facebook group in January 2017. That's a mouthful, I know. And
No.
the post was labeled the man as Phil Collins, who is being distracted from progressive rock, prog, by pop music, pop. Yeah, it gets more obscure. The meme started going viral on Twitter and Reddit. And then a Twitter user, Sad Stalinist, posted the photograph with the man labeled as the youth being extracted from his girlfriend, who was capitalism, by the girl in red, socialism. So, the girl in the meme generally came to represent something that one is supposed to do, and the woman wearing red came to represent something more desirable or riskier. So the models were kind of oblivious to the fact that these were going viral and were quite surprised, I think, when they found out through social media. One of their friends said, "You're all over the internet." And in 2017, it was, one of the top memes of that year, which is kind of something because that was a year that was filled with hurricanes and shootings and political dramas. And Nathan Heller in the New Yorker wrote in December of that year that he felt that the delight of the distracted boyfriend meme was not unlike the perverse pleasure that America gets from being able to focus on something funny like that and not face the horrible things that are really happening in the country and the world. And but here's the twist: those actors kept working, doing all sorts of things for stock photo libraries. Him proposing to her in a million kind of ways, arguing, eating in a restaurant, drinking coffee together. And the comedy video creators, Funny or Die, put that all together, compiled them into a video called Distracted Boyfriend Revealed, the complete story behind the meme. So these people have a whole life together in this video, which is extremely funny. And the internet's good for stuff like that. So, and the woman, the girlfriend, has actually turned up here in Australia. Meme Girl is now Metro Girl because the stock photo was used by Transport for New South Wales in an Opal card ad. And some beady-eyed Reddit user noticed that she was there. So, yeah, they get around, Mario and Laura.
Do. Mario and Laura.
You'll notice it more now, won't you? Like the Shaka song.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. I'll be looking for Mario and Laura and say, hang loose, kids. Don't worry about what they're saying online about you. Do you
Thank you for not
remember
doing that bad accent again, but okay.
my Hawaiian accent? No, that's my surfer dude accent. Thank you very much.
Right.
It has
Yeah,
no
it was like
ethnicity.
supposed to. Yeah.
It's the surfer dude. Are you musical?
I learned piano. I was kind of force-fed piano when I was a kid. Not super musical. No, more visual than musical.
I play the recorder. So yeah, I'm more visual than musical too. But somebody who was very musical was the Italian violin maker Antonio Stradivari. And he made a very special instrument. And he's got this amazing mystique in the classical music world, but also in the general world. And Stradivari lived from about 1644 to 1737. Now, Stradivarius, which is Latin for Stradivari, made wonderful instruments, about 1,200 of them during his life, and about 650 of them survive. And of those instruments, 500 were violins. We've all heard of the Stradivarius violin. But he also made violas and cellos and mandolins and guitars and harps. But probably the most famous cello in existence is the Davidoff, which was once owned by the British cellist Jacqueline Dupre, and it's now owned by the wonderful Yo-Yo Ma. Now, what we might not know is that every Stradivarius has its own name, so they're all individual. But there's a great mystique surrounding this incredible violin, mainly because of the beautiful sound that comes out of them. And the players say that the violins sound like have a brilliance and a depth unlike anything they've ever played before. So at the time, other craftsmen were trying to work out what is Stradivarius' secret, what makes him so special. And he died taking those techniques to the grave. So everybody's trying to work out why the hell this thing sounds so good. And musicians and scientists have got in on the act. And there's theories that tend to focus on maybe it's the varnish that they used. So Stradivari had a secret ingredient in his varnish. But, they analysed it chemically and nope, there's nothing unusual about the varnish. Okay, so then maybe it's the wood itself. And the scientists said, well, maybe that little ice age, which happened from 1300 to 1850, maybe that was a factor where the spruce trees had a different growth pattern because of that weird weather phenomenon. But no, the scientists recently have looked and the violins were made of wood that was treated with chemicals, including aluminium, calcium, and copper. Did that alter the amazing acoustic properties? Then another group of scientists said, well, maybe the superiority of the Stradivarius instrument could just be all illusion. There's so much hype behind it that when you hear it or you play it, you think that it's better. So in an effort to solve all of this, in 2014, a series of experiments were conducted where violinists who were pretty good players were blindfolded and lined up were a mix of original Stradivariuses as well as contemporary violins. And the controversial thing is that a lot of the new instruments were deemed to be a better sound. Ooh-ah.
Oops.
The Stradivarius is very, very collectible. They've attracted astronomical prices at auction. An anonymous buyer in 2011 purchased the Lady Blunt, which was named for Lady Anne Blunt, one of the previous owners, bought her violin for $15.9 million US. And the best preserved of the violins is the Messiah, which sits in a climate-controlled case in the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford in England. So very rare, very, very expensive. And as you can imagine, the crooks have got in on it and they want to steal them. And about 10 have been stolen over their life. And the top players of the world, and I'm imagining maybe Yo-Yo Ma is one of them, although he plays cello, has a minder for their violin. So they carry them around and are in charge of its safety. Wow. So there you go. The legacy continues after all of these years.
I love it. That's great. I love it. I can't think of another musical instrument that has, a brand that is so
powerful.
Dominant and powerful. It's awesome.
Steinway, but you're not going to carry that around. Steinway's big.
Steinway. That's on my list of maybe things to explore and write about. Steinway. Yeah. That was a New York company. Okay, well, geez. Disasters, Shaka signs, distracted boyfriends, and Stradivarius violins. Don't say we don't give you random, folks.
It's Kellogg's Variety Pack here.
REMORANDOM. And all captured in our glorious books. Here's one. And look, it's got the words darker yellow on it, which means that I wasn't happy with the yellow on this one. So
there you go. Yeah, the book is called REMORANDOM. And it's full of these, of course you invented it.
I know.
It's full of these fabulous tidbits.
Here I am,
amazing
flicking.
Facts. He's flashing his book around there. And,
and he's knocking
all
his
of these
computer around.
All of these stories, don't just come out of thin air. A lot of them come out of Remo's head, but a lot of them are contributed by people like you, listeners. So if you've got a great idea for one of these stories, Yep. Send
Send
us
it
a
in.
note. Remorandom.com or hello@remorandom.com.
Okay, Claudia, thank you very much. Appreciate it all, and see you next time.
This is what I say. Aloha.